welcome into Texans Today, everybody. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, and coming up on today's show, the 5 most impactful rookies for the Houston Texans this season, ranked by yours truly, Jeremy Chuggs. It's basically going off of everything that I've heard from OTAs and minicamps, and just, that general gut feeling of who I think is really going to help the Texans the most this season. But before I get started on today's show, I want to know, where are my real ones at? Where are my day one real ones? Because if you're a Texans fan and you have gotten to this point, I know you've been through a lot. If the name Sage Rosenfels, David Carr, if Brock Osweiler, TJ Yates, if those names mean something to you, go down and like the video. If you remember the dog days of, Lovie Smith being the head coach of the Texans getting embarrassed by the Indianapolis Colts, if you've been through all the hardships and now finally get to the fruits of your labor, seeing this Texans team right now and how good they can possibly be this season, I want you to go down and like today's video. I want to give a shout out to all of you out there who stuck with this team through the worst times, through the lowest of lows, and are here right now ready to take this team to the mountaintop. If you're one of those guys, if you were a day one Texans fan, go down and hit that thumbs up icon and like today's video. Now, the most impactful rookies, I'm going from 5 down to 1. Number 5, I'm going to go with Cade Stover, and I might have had him a little bit higher previously on this list if it wasn't for the emergence of one player in particular. But I still think he's going to make an impact this season just because of his chemistry with C.J. Stroud. Obviously, their time in Ohio State, they played really well together. And that, could translate very much into this season for the Houston Texans. But with what DeMeco Ryans has been saying about one Brevin Jordan, I had to change up my depth chart once again, and I moved Brevin Jordan back to tight end 2, Cade Stover being the tight end 3. I really think, Brevin Jordan at a contract year, I think they're going to let him ball out a little bit, ease Cade into it, and let him, have a rookie season where he just kind of dips his toes into the water. If you want to know more about my thoughts around Brevin Jordan and what DeMeco Ryans exactly had to say, I also, bring up a little bit about Bill O'Brien, also talk about some things Stephon Diggs had to say. If you didn't watch my video yesterday, right here. The link is going to be up there and in the comment section of today's video. Go check out my video yesterday. You can pop back in here. But if you're interested in a little bit of this, don't worry. It's on the channel. Link is right there. Go check it out, my video from yesterday. But going back to Cade Stover, I still think him and C.J. Stroud, they're going to have a special connection. And yes, when you look at tight ends in the NFL, rookie tight ends don't usually translate as much in year one. We see it time and time again with guys that come out of the draft. Year one, they're okay, they're decent, and it doesn't get until year 2, year 3 where they really come into their own. I mean, Dalton Schultz was like that with the Dallas Cowboys. So I think Cade Stover is going to make an impact, but not as much as some people might think. I think it's going to be Brevin Jordan. I'm going to type my BJ down in the comment section. No Diddy. But let me know what you think down below. Who do you think is going to have a bigger impact this year for the Houston Texans? Do you think it's going to be Cade Stover? Type CS. Or do you think it's going to be Brevin Jordan? Go ahead and type BJ down in the comment section. Next up, for most impactful rookies, and this one might come to a surprise to a lot of people, I have Jamal Hill, the linebacker selected out of Oregon in the 6th round of this year's draft, as my 4th most impactful rookie. And I know what you're saying, but Jeremy, when you show him on the depth chart, he's buried. I don't think he's going to start at linebacker. We have Christian Harris. You've been hyping up Azeez Al-Shire, and Henry To'oTo'o might take that second-year leap. Well, I don't think he's going to be making that much of a difference in the linebacking room, especially on the defensive side of the football. I don't think he's going to, show a lot of his face this season, but with the new kickoff rules, he could be pretty big on special teams. And that's something that DeMeco Ryans, Nick Caserio really, emphasized with this pick and really emphasized with Jamal Hill is how good he could be in special teams. And I think, special teams coordinator Frank Ross sees a guy like Jamal Hill, 6 foot, 226 pounds, a former safety moved to linebacker. He is uber athletic. And having a guy like this being able to sprint down the field and, cover kicks, cover punts, that's something that can be really impactful for the Houston Texans. If you follow this show, we talked about Neville Hewitt and how Brian Baldinger gave him a big shout out as he's one of the best special teams guys in the entire NFL. With the new rules, the Texans might have a little bit more emphasis on this, and Jamal Hill might be able to make an impact early, not on defense, but on special teams, special plays, special players. Next up, looking at Blake Fisher, the offensive tackle selected in the second round out of Notre Dame. And now, really, I could have him higher on this list, but it all depends on, how much playing time he gets right out of the gate. I mean, a lot of people think he's a tackle-only type of player. He can be a swing tackle for the Texans this year, but they already have two guys. They have Jeremy Chuggs and they have Tytus Howard on either side. But I think it really comes down to, will he have to step in for Tytus Howard? Will he need to, help out with this Texans offensive line? Because there has been some concerns with Tytus Howard. There has been, a little bit of worry about, can he stay healthy? Can he be okay for the Houston Texans this season? He missed a lot of time last year. He's been oft injured in the past. And maybe that's why they selected Blake Fisher so high. Maybe that's why they reached a little bit on a tackle early in the draft, because they were worried about Tytus Howard and if he'll be able to play this season for the Houston Texans or stay healthy for the Houston Texans this season. Let me know down in the comments, how worried are you about Tytus Howard's health in 2024? Because he just couldn't seem to stay on the field last year. Got hurt in the preseason, hurt his hand, was out the first 6, 7, 8 weeks, and then was able to come back and then hurts his knee. So it's not on him. It sucks. It's really an unfortunate part of sports, but I am a little bit worried. Are the Texans maybe rushing him back too soon? How do you feel? 1, you're not worried at all. 10, you are pushing the panic meter right now on Tytus Howard. Let me know how you feel down in the comment section. And quick reminder, Father's Day is coming up. If you haven't gotten your dad a gift, why not go out and get him a Texans hat? I always say hats are a pretty good gift if you want to get it for somebody, because you don't have to make sure their size. You don't have to awkwardly ask me, hey, what shirt size are you or whatever. You can just go out and get them one of these hats. A lot of them are on sale. I know this one for a fact is on sale. And they have a ton of new options in the store as well with the brand new Texans secondary logo. All available when you go to chatsports.com/Texans hats. That link is going to be in the comment section and description of today's video. One more time, it's chatsports.com/Texans hats. Number 2 on my list, I'm going to go with Kamari Lassiter. And it might surprise some people, but I think Lassiter is going to make a huge impact for this team, and I think he's going to start week 1 opposite of Derek Stingley at the cornerback position. He has been, getting a ton of hype throughout OTAs, throughout minicamp, and I'll say this, it's well-deserved hype for Kamari Lassiter, because he has absolutely been putting on a clinic, been putting on a show, has been making plays left and right. Will Anderson was speaking his praises. D'Amico Ryans named him the Swarm Player of the Week, the best player on the field. He has been absolutely everywhere for this Texans secondary so far in OTAs and minicamp. And I know what you're saying. It's just 7-on-7, Jeremy. There's, just drills. But those drills are actually work in favor for the offense. For him to be doing well in those drills is an amazing sign. So I think Kamari Lassiter is going to make a massive impact on this team. He comes in at number 2 on my list, and I'll get to why in just a moment. But here are some of the guys who just missed the cut from my list. A couple of UDFAs, Max Tooley, Pheldarius Payne, trying to make their way on the final 53-man roster. Jawhar Jordan, the running back, I think he could make an impact, but Dameon Pierce has looked pretty good, so maybe that cuts into where he can get carries, where he can get some workload on this offense this year. And then the 2 later round guys, Solomon Byrd and Marcus Harris along the defensive line, just missed the cut for me. But number 1 on my list is going to be Calen Bullock. And it might surprise some people. It might be like, Jeremy, you've been hyping up Kamari Lassiter so much, and then you go with Calen Bullock, number 1. Well, here's my reasoning. I think Calen Bullock is going to make a huge impact on this Texans defense on the back end, because in 2023, there was 2 parts of this Texans defense that I thought really needed to improve this season. Stopping the run would be number 1, and then guarding the deep ball. I think the Texans were very susceptible to those run plays and then deep shots down the field. Now, obviously, Calen Bullock, we broke down on the channel in the past, not really good in the run game, but guarding the deep ball, that is his specialty. He's a former wide receiver, great length, great size, and I think Bullock will make a huge impact on the back end of this Texans team. He has something that Jimmy Ward and Jalen Petrie do not have, which is that length and ball skills on the back end. I think he can be somewhat of a center fielder for this Texans team, and with the pass rush that this Texans defensive line will be able to generate this year, I think that could lead to a ton of opportunities for somebody like Calen Bullock on the back end, with teams trying to take the top off of this Texans defense. Him guarding those deep balls, I could see him getting multiple picks this season for this Texans defense. I think him and Kamari Lassiter Those are both great selections for the Texans, and I really think they're going to pan out this year. I mean, I was flip-flopping 1 and 2, who I put 1 and who I put 2 between Kamari Lassiter and Calen Bullock, but I ended up just giving the slight edge to Calen Bullock because I think he's going to make a lot of plays on the back end for this Texans defense. What say you, though? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? That's what the comment section's for. I love the discourse with all my fans out there. Which rookie will make the biggest impact this season for the Houston Texans? Let your voice be heard. I'll be watching down in the comment section. I want to see what you have to say. The Texans fans, the real ones, down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. That's all I have for you on today's show, folks. As always, hit me up on Twitter at Jeremy Chuggs for more news and rumors around the Houston Texans. And as always, go down and hit that sub button. You made it to the end of the video. Why don't you hit that sub button for daily free Texans content all year long? We don't take no breaks here on Texans Today. We bring you the best Texans coverage on YouTube. We're the fastest growing Texans channel on YouTube for good reason. So go down and hit that sub button and join the family.